This video is made possible by our loyal Patreon supporters. Visit patreon.com/Psychetruth.
Hey, it's Corrina, your virtual health coach, and today I want to talk to you about posture and share with you some simple tips and tricks to help you go from this to this. So before we even begin, check in with yourself. Are you sitting with good, healthy posture, or are you sitting super slumped? Chances are, if you clicked on this video, it's because your default is that really hunched over slouched posture. But go ahead, check in with yourself, and even chime in to me down in the comments below and let me know. Were you sitting up straight or were you slouching? So for a lot of us, our default posture is that really slouched, crouched thing. So maybe we're typing, or maybe we're driving, or maybe we're just sitting there watching TV, but we're completely collapsed over. Not only is this terrible for our posture, terrible for our back, but it also compresses our digestive organs, our lungs. It starts to impede all of these really important bodily functions like digestion, respiration, and it can even be a trigger for anxiety because as we're compressing down and limiting the amount of breath we can take in, that lack of oxygen to the brain can actually trigger the response that causes anxiety. So starting to work to notice our posture and work towards a more elevated, supported way of sitting is so good for us for so many different reasons. So the first thing that I want to mention is that a lot of people, when they start working to improve their posture, are going to immediately notice that it actually feels less comfortable to sit up straight. Maybe at first it feels okay, but after a couple of minutes, their low back starts to really hurt. And I've even had people say to me, Corrina, it hurts me more to sit up straight. I don't think it's good for me. So actually what's happening is that the muscles that support your spine have become really, really weak from years or maybe even a lifetime of just not getting used. And especially if you're in that kind of slouched and crouched position all the time, these muscles in the back become so weak that to engage them and try to sit up straight can be really painful at first. So recognize that A, it's perfectly normal to feel a little discomfort in your back as you're first starting to begin improving your posture, and B, that this will improve over time. And the more time that you put into working on your posture and strengthening your back muscles, it'll actually get easier and easier to sit up in this position with less discomfort than when you are slouching. So tip number one was that we just have to start noticing our posture and kind of get in the habit of noticing when we're slouched and working to correct that. Number two was remembering that at first it may be a little bit painful to sit up straight, but the more that you keep at it, a little bit per day, the more these muscles become strong and it becomes easier to sit up straight. The third thing I want to point out is that physiologically speaking, there are certain positions that make it easier to sit up straight and tall than others. So one thing that I have found a lot of benefit from once I started kind of noticing this in my own posture was that when your knees are below your hips, it's easier to sit up straight. And I'll just turn to the side here so you can see a little bit better. So sometimes we may be sitting up like this and our knees are actually higher than our hips. Maybe we're sitting in a couch. Maybe it's when we're in our car and we're in that like kind of bucket seat thing and the knees raise up above the hips. So when that happens, it actually makes it more difficult to sit up straight. So if you can adjust your chair or adjust your seat so that your knees come below your hips, suddenly that makes it so much easier to sit up straight and tall. You can also kind of play with how you sit in your chair. So if you're leaned back in the back of your chair, here we're not engaging any of our back muscles. And even though we're not slouched forward, we're kind of still in that posture that's not really strengthening our back in any way. So if you kind of move a little bit to the edge of your seat, especially you can see here in this chair where sitting on the edge really lets my knees sink lower, that makes it so much easier to sit up tall. And you could play with maybe sitting up on a book, raising up your chair, or maybe just switching your chair out altogether if you find that you just can't get comfortable no matter what you do. But these little tweaks that we start to notice can make a really big difference, especially if we have to be sitting in our chair all day long while we're at work, or all day long while we're driving around. Another thing to keep in mind is that anytime we're in any position for a prolonged period of time, that can cause a lot of discomfort, and it really helps to kind of drive in those maybe negative movement patterns and habits. So, sitting all day long, something that most of us do, but if you can just try to get up and move and come into a different position, even for just a few minutes, that will be really valuable. So maybe this is something about setting a little timer on your phone or to go off on your computer just to remind you to get up out of your chair, maybe walk around a little bit, get up and stretch. For those of us who are working from home right now, this may be actually a little bit more challenging because when we're in the office, maybe we're gonna get up and go into the kitchen to get some water, or maybe we can walk around or go talk with our coworkers or something like that. So if you are working from home, like so many of us are right now, know that setting a little timer for yourself, get up, walk outside. Maybe go walk around the block, or even just kind of walking around your house or around your apartment. It's not that you have to get a lot of movement in, but if you can break up those really long periods of sitting time with just a little bit of movement every hour or every 2 hours, that will go a long way to keeping your back from feeling so sore at the end of a really long day. The last recommendation that I have for you today is to start doing some kind of stretching or physical activity that's going to help strengthen those muscles on the back of the body. And just recognize that we have muscles on the back part of the spine, and there's also those deep core muscles on the front of the spine. So anything that you're doing to strengthen the body is typically going to work with strengthening those core muscles on the front of the spine or strengthening those muscles on the back. And the more that we build the strength through those muscles, the easier it is to sit up straight. So maybe this is doing a 10-minute yoga practice once a week. Maybe this is starting to take walks around the block. So if you're somebody who is not really doing physical activity on a weekly basis, start with something really small and easy. Like, I'm gonna walk around the block once a week. Or once a week, I'm gonna do a 10-minute yoga video. If you're experiencing lots of back pain right now, I encourage you to start with something like yoga for back pain, where they're actually going to be guiding you through different postures that are gonna help relieve the tension you're already feeling. If you're in a position where you're not really suffering from back pain, but you would just like to improve your posture, then maybe you consider a 10-minute workout. And it doesn't have to be yoga, but the reason that I tend to gravitate towards yoga is that the entire practice is designed to really support your body and help to kind of give you a really good holistic improvement in all of the different muscle groups. So helping you loosen up the hips and get more flexible in the hips, helping to support the spine, helping you to do some really nice twists, which are great for your spine, also great for your digestive organs. I'm actually in the final stages right now of a yoga teacher training program, which I'm really excited about. So in just a couple of short weeks, I will be making some yoga videos just for you guys to help you implement some of these different tips that I've been sharing today. Now, in the meantime, we have lots and lots of other yoga videos right here on this channel, as well as other workout videos and even videos dedicated to helping you improve your posture. If you can just take 5 or 10 minutes a week to start implementing some of these activities, you will notice that now it feels more comfortable to sit up straight, and maybe we can start to diminish some of that low back pain and tension that tends to make us slouch over in that really hunched and unfavorable position. So before I close this video, I challenge you one more time to check in and notice your posture right now. As I've been sitting here talking about posture, have you been sitting there with good posture? Or are you back to your default slouching again? I would love to hear from you down in the comments. Let me know at the beginning of the video, end of the video, were you slouching or not? Chances are, if you're watching this video, it's because your default is that hunched over slouched position. But I love hearing from you guys in the comments, and I would love to know any questions or topic requests that you might have for me for next time. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you in the very next video. Many of our subscribers don't see our videos. Make sure that you click the notification bell. And if you haven't already, follow us on social media for tips, tutorials, giveaways, and daily inspiration.
Wellness Plus is available on Amazon, which you can stream from your home on your phone, tablet, or TV. Join Wellness Plus today and get your first 7 days free.